evening, folks. With Danielle McCartan, I'm John Moses. Big stretch for the Princeton Tigers here. 5 games in 9 days. A test for any team, Danielle.
Yeah, I mean, at the professional level included. So I think that this matchup, though, and that 5 games in 9 days is going to favor Princeton because of the injuries that they've had. Yep. They've had 7 different starting lineups so far this season, and 10 different players have stepped up to be starters.
The Princeton Tigers led on offense by Bella Allery, who has blossomed into one of the top scorers in the country. A pair of 40-point games under her belt already, and she figures to be the focal point once again for the Tiger offense tonight.
Yeah, and you know, the last 2 games here in this gym, they've averaged 95 points here at Jadwin so far this season, and they make the most out of each possession that they go down and score. They're first in the Ivy League in field goal percentage, free throw percentage, and 3-point percentage. And you can't ask for much more out of your offense if you're Coach Courtney Bankert.
Meanwhile, the Big Red for Cornell enters tonight on the outside looking into the Ivy League tournament at 3-5 overall. But a couple of wins last weekend against Yale and Brown have them thinking upset tonight. And Penn transfer Laura Bagwell-Katalinic is their star on offense.
Yeah, and the offense is going to run through Katalinic. She's scored double digits in 15 consecutive games. She's led the team in scoring in 11 consecutive games. And although she enjoys the scoring, she feels she's always been a scorer. She doesn't want the team to have to run through her in that way. As she does, the team does. Yeah, they have very good defense. They're at the top of the Ivy League in a lot of different defensive categories. So it's going to be interesting to see how that staunch defense matches up against the high-powered Princeton offense tonight.
Tigers winning that first match of 75-46 at Cornell. That is Littlefield. Allery has another offensive rebound. It's already her third. Rush sets for 3, and she got it.
Yeah, that's great court vision, just to kick that ball back out. Know that you didn't have anything underneath, and set up Rush for that catch and shoot, as she's the best at.
Princeton setting up a little bit of full court pressure. And falling back into a man-to-man defense. Bagwell-Katalinic along 2. That's off the mark. Offensive rebound for Widman.
And the reason why Bagwell-Katalinic was wide open on that play is Bella Allery kind of got lost in the mix there, down low.
Allery will try a 3. Got it!
That makes up for it, doesn't it?
Allery, who went over 1,000 points against Columbia at the beginning of the month, now up to 1,100, even in her career. Tigers scrambling on the defensive end. Jorgensen, Bagwell-Katalinic in deep, and she's got a pair.
Yeah, that's a tough 2. Tough 2 points are well-deserved and well-earned.
Post up Allery, playing one-on-one against Bagwell-Katalinic. Off the mark. Rebound, taken in by Widman. One element to the Cornell offense is that they run quite a bit off of that elbow. There's a lot of counters within their offense that can be tough for a defense to prepare for. Seeing the Tigers on the offensive end, Bella Allery.
That was just a nice stroke there. That went directly in. Nothing but net on that one.
Sydney Jordan has a steal for the Tigers. 2-on-2. Jordan not able to finish. Suramak, the sophomore, clears it for Big Red.
And there's a great job just getting in the passing lane there and creating something on the other end. Those shots will fall.
True doubleheader tonight. Princeton and Cornell men will hook up about 8 o'clock. Nice find inside for Widman. And the junior, who has scored 11 or more in 3 straight games, has a couple of buckets early on. Rush. Allery with the size advantage in search of Jordan. Not able to save it in play was Suramak, and the Tigers will keep it.
We'll see, if I'm Allery, I would definitely keep that ball up and not put it down. And that's just a great find there. The defender was not in position to make that play on Princeton for the Cornell 2-point basket there.
Officials checking in with head coach Courtney Banghart. It looks like she's ready to sub at the next dead ball. That is Allery. Rush, 8 to shoot. Bella It's an offensive foul. Well done by Woodman to step into the right spot at the right time.
He thought that was going to be a great play there with a nice pick and then a roll, and then it was just an offensive foul there. Not good, not good.
See Woodman clearly outside of that circle. Host of subs for the Tigers. Kalea Ismail, Taylor Bauer, and Julia Cunningham all in for the first time. Carly Littlefield, Sydney Jordan, Grace Stone to the bench as the Tigers set up this full court pressure. And that is a travel. Bagwell Katalinich saying she was pushed from behind but took steps on the catch.
And that's a different look from Princeton defensively, and that was a good way to make a turnover there. Force the turnover.
Kalea Ismail has battled shin splints over the last year or two. That's Julia Cunningham. Allery, another rebound, and then she is held by Suramak.
Conference here.
Cornell foul is number 3, Kate Suramak.
Tigers will keep it.
Big red first.
Julia Cunningham started 6 of the first 9 games this year for the Tigers. As we alluded to in the pregame, Princeton has battled some injury throughout the year. Players like Cunningham and Stone gained a lot of experience in the non-conference. That's Taylor Bauer, who has been one of those players who's been marked by injury this year, and she'll be called for coming over the back and chasing her own shot.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of white jerseys to red jerseys underneath the offensive boards there, I mean, I would like to see more white than red on that if I'm Princeton. It can't be a 1-on-3 situation.
Tigers already have 4 offensive rebounds in the first 4.5 minutes. Big Red still having some trouble with this full court pressure.
Yeah, keep it on.
Bagwell Katalinich fell to the floor.
Yeah.
And it's a travel.
And that's the right call. She looked up looking maybe possibly for a foul, but that was definitely a travel on that one.
Taylor Bauer, such an important player. Princeton head coach Courtney Banghart really loves the energy that she brings to the program, but unfortunately she hasn't been able to dress more than 5 or 6 times this year. Rush has a deep 3 for the Tigers.
Gabrielle Rush special, the catch and shoot. So pretty. Again, going with the full court press here.
Especially with Allery at the top, really must make it hard for some of those smaller guards. Nearly another turnover as Suramak comes away with it, and then finally Princeton comes away with a steal.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Like, what is her wingspan? She's 6'4". Her wingspan's got to be, close to that. It's got to cause trouble for some shorter defenders, shorter guards like I was.
Ismail forced it up. Bauer and Ismail combined on an offensive rebound for the Tigers. Allery left alone. And Ismail has the offensive board.
There you go.
Bauer. And the Tigers reset.
Yeah. Good choice there to reset on that. That got a little chaotic down there.
Ismail finds Allery in deep. She sees 2. It's a little 3 for Ismail. That's off the mark.
That's the thing. Bella Allery draws 3 defenders on that for the kick out to Ishmael. Just didn't fall.
Jorgensen initiating for Big Red.
And when you got a triple team on Allery, that's going to open up a lot of things for some other players on the court offensively.
10 to shoot. Smith, Jorgensen, Bagwell Katalinich, fouled by Bauer on the catch.
Yeah, on the reach in there. Good call.
Gabrielle Rush, a couple of early threes for the Princeton Tigers. She's got 6 of the Tigers' 9, who lead by 3 with 3:35 to go here in the opening quarter on ESPN+. Princeton and Cornell wrapping up their season series tonight. Tigers victorious by a big margin. And looking at the series history between these two, it's been a series dominated by the Princeton Tigers. They have won 6 of the last 7. And you see the line there for Allery in the first matchup between these two teams. If that game were a bit closer, I suspect that those numbers may have been higher.
Yeah, and Bagwell Katalinich told me that they're definitely gone back to the film to see where Bella Allery likes to get her shots from and just be more aware of her altogether. But she did say that that's still too many points to give one single player.
Tigers 0 for 8 from 2-point range early on here, but 3 of 7 from 3, counting for their 9 points. Rush with 2 makes, Allery with the other. Jorgensen. Widman had it blocked from behind. Ismail and Allery combined on the denial. And you see the Tigers really sending everybody to the defensive side.
Yeah, and that's great defense. Just hands up, no foul.
It's Allie Miklos off the bench for Big Red at the last time out, her first bucket. Tigers quickly into their half-court set. It's Rush from the corner for threes off the mark.
Again, there are 1 or 2 Princeton defenders and 5 Cornell defenders underneath that net.
Samantha Clement, number 23. Lone senior in the regular rotation for Big Red, is on the floor.
That was a great denial by Rush. Did you see that with the cutter coming around, backdoor?
Tigers have to be very disciplined on this end. 7 to shoot. The shot was partially blocked. But a foul against Princeton. That's on Julia Cunningham, and it'll put Samantha Clement on the line. Clement, senior from Anaheim, California. Best shooter on the team at 35% from three-point range. Big Red really does struggle to shoot the three. Just shy of 26% as a team. Carly Littlefield is back for Princeton. Maggie Connolly on for the first time. Ismail and Cunningham to the bench.
And John, we talked about the staunch defense of Cornell coming into this. The Princeton Tigers have been scoreless in the last 2 minutes and 23 seconds of play.
Allery left alone and has the lay-in. Compliments of Sydney Boyer.
I think of me too. I mean, I think I snapped that little scoreless streak there.
Sometimes the broadcaster jinx can go the other way.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
So assist to me. Just kidding.
Jorgensen, defended closely by Littlefield. They run it for Miklos. Princeton continues to play well on the defensive end, but it's this interior passing on the offensive end, you see here between Boyer and Allery, that has been a difference maker for them recently.
Well, they're using their height advantage. You have Allery at 6'4" underneath the basket. Feed it to her, and feed it to her high, so she doesn't have to put it down.
Left hand is in for Samantha Widman, junior from Lawrenceville, New Jersey. And once again, Allery trailing in transition with a catch, and she draws a foul on Cornell.
And Widman, she's got a lot of family, friends, and former coaches here coming to the game tonight, so she's excited to play. She likened this to a home court. She's just excited to play in front of the people that have supported her throughout her career. And she's only from, 14, 15 minutes away.
Yeah, Notre Dame High School, the Trentonian Player of the Year as a senior, 4-time first-team All-Mercer County selection by the Trentonian. Tigers running Boyer with Allery, Littlefield, Conley, and Rush. Wave off the shot attempt as Allery is called for an illegal screen.
Yeah, it was a moving pick. You saw it. Bella Allery seems pretty confused on that call, but you know what? She took 1, 2, 3 steps on that one, so definitely. I don't know why she's so confused on that.
Tigers still playing a little bit of full court pressure, just sort of token man-to-man pressure. Allery is to the bench. Sydney Jordan in her place. Big Red leading by a point as we approach the final 90 seconds of the opening quarter.
A little confusion there on the switch.
Clement finds Samantha Widman inside.
And Samantha Widman is always looked at as the one that pumps up the rest of the team. On that basket, you saw her running down the court screaming.
Littlefield, mid-range for 2. Littlefield, who has really picked it up offensively, went for 18 and 9 against Columbia. See the Tigers something more liberally here in the first quarter than on a typical night. Foul inside, wave off the made basket for Bagwell Katalinic. Littlefield was switched onto her, and certainly an advantage for Bagwell Katalinic. Cornell head coach Dana Smith not thrilled with that.
As Princeton comes down here, they're 1 for 4 in their last couple three-point attempts. Oh,
Sydney Jordan left all alone.
Wide open.
And that'll draw a timeout from Big Red.
How did that happen?
Well, Cornell, to a certain degree, they have mixed zone and man. And sometimes when you sub on the fly, not everybody is exactly on the same page.
Yeah, clearly on that.
The Tigers have had a couple of opportunities that way. As you see the comparison of these two teams, we alluded to the excellent defense that Cornell has played all year. That 57.9 allowed is the best in the Ivy League, but Princeton brings the league's best offense at 71 a game.
Yeah, 71 I think is the second highest scoring percentage in the entire Ivy League. And it's a good, as we said in the open, it's going to be which wins out, the defense or the offense. Exciting to see.
Dylan Higgins, number 5, is in for the first time for Cornell. Higgins and Jorgensen able to break the token pressure applied by Princeton.
Rush
Picks the pocket of Higgins. Rush fell to the floor and draws a foul.
That's just a great job of exploiting a defender that is just not paying attention. A little lazy with the ball.
Number 5, Dylan Higgins.
Yep.
Cornell's 4.
Senior taking on the sophomore. Gabrielle Rush, senior from Hinsdale, Illinois. Averaging a career best 13 points a game this year, just shy of 6 rebounds a game.
And she really has become the second scorer on a team led by Bella Allery. We all know that. But Rush has stepped up in that secondary sort of scoring role. Nicely, might I add.
Big Red can hold for the final shot here in the first quarter. Bagwell Katalinic in search of Widman, and it's Sydney Boyer who was holding her. Tigers over the limit, so Big Red will go to the line.
It seems Bagwell Katalinic, her first instinct or inkling is to pass the ball. If you're her, if I'm her, I'm looking to shoot the ball first.
Well, I think that's partially design in Big Red's offense. There's a lot of opportunity for her to catch at the elbow early in the possession, and not necessarily looking for your own shot when there's still 18, 19 seconds remaining on the shot clock.
Yeah. And they got a foul out of it, and possibly 2 points coming up here.
Second for Widman is good. Make it a 1-point game. Freshman Connolly from Wilmington, Delaware, running the show for the Tigers. Allery, one-on-one, and the jump hook is in for 2.
Yeah, the timing was off on the cut down low, but Allery just obviously keeps the ball away from the defenders.
Jorgensen, it would have counted. And that ends the opening quarter. 8 points for Gabrielle Rush, 7 for Bella Allery. The Tigers have a 3-point lead here at Jadwin Gymnasium. Princeton looking for win number 6 in Ivy League play. More after this, coming on ESPN+.
And Allery is one of only 2 players in Princeton basketball history to score at least 45 points. The other one, Bill Bradley. And you know what Bill Bradley has done. Number retired by the Knicks, 10-year career with them, 2-time NBA champion, and 1964 gold medalist. You know what, John, I was looking at, this is like a close margin here at the end of the first quarter. I was looking at the field goal percentages and everything, and all the shot choices, shot selection. Cornell hasn't even attempted a 3-pointer so far, but they're shooting almost 55% from the floor to Princeton's 35.
Jordan, nice move on the baseline, and she has 2 compliments of Bella Allen.
Her eyes were as big as saucers on that cut. Did you see that, John? She wanted that ball right there.
Jordan thought about it. It's Rush for 3. Got it.
Catch and shoot Rush. On the kick out, Sydney Jordan goes in, draws a defender on the kick out to Rush. Great play. Princeton is 4 for 9 on 3-pointers tonight.
Denied by Allery. Unleashing the Tigers in transition.
That's a Bella block. Hashtag Bella block on that one, as we determined last time here. One thing about Carly Littlefield, how she defends, her feet are always moving, and she's always turning the defender left to right, left to right. That's textbook every time down the court.
She's been in her position for 37 seasons.
It's amazing.
She's been coaching basketball longer at Harvard than I've been on the Zerk.
Me too. And I'm older than you.
Suramak, and she's got a deuce.
And they lean on her, too, for the longer range shots. She's just getting started here tonight.
Lexi Weger will try a three, and she got it.
That's a long three. It's hard to defend when you have a 6'3" player that's going to be shooting three-pointers. It's hard to defend.
Clement, lefty runner, rolls out. Weger had the rebound poked away. It'll be Princeton ball.
Yeah, and that was a mistake on the switch on the man-to-man defense there on Princeton. They gave her that high percentage shot. And Princeton's made 8 of the last 9 field goals, so they're on a little bit of a tear here.
Littlefield left the three short.
I just mushed that. Sydney Jordan, she's been open there pretty much all game. I mean, she's looking for the ball, they're getting it to her, and she's just putting it down. And 11 different Tigers have seen action tonight.
It's a great play from Gabrielle Rush here with the left hand getting into the paint.
And John, that was the first unassisted Princeton field goal this whole game. And here we are with 4 minutes to go in the half. Good things happen when you're aggressive on the offensive side of the ball.
Fouls on Stephanie Ume. 3 on the way is off the mark. But Weger has an offensive rebound for the Tigers.
Good. And to get an offensive board all the way at the three-point line means there's some good boxing out down low.
Stone 2 for 2 at the strike.
And Princeton's now 4 for 4, 100% from the foul. And Princeton is first in the Ivy League in free throw percentage. They hit, as a team, collectively 77% of the time. Yeah, I think that would be one thing as a coach that I'd like to tidy up for them is being a little more careful with the ball.
Cornell's turned it over 10 times here in the first half.
I'd be interested to see how many points that's translated to be off the turnover that Princeton has turned them into.
Battling away with the smaller Rush.
Now, Courtney Banghart was telling me that, she'd rather have her players be gritty or pretty, and she described Rush as being one of the prettier players, the way she shoots the ball. That was a gritty play there, and I think Banghart would agree. Yeah, and that's just I don't want to say it, but a rookie mistake, just telegraphing your pass and where that's going to go. Cornell's picked up the pace. They're typically a slower playing team, and they're picking up the pace, and it looks like it's paying off. Yeah, and that's one thing I talked to Bagwell Katalinic about, and it was just that they need to really take advantage of Princeton in transition. And, here we are in the second quarter, and they're starting to do that. And before Allery came in, that was a lineup of 4 Princeton freshmen and 1 sophomore, as Allery is slow to get up here, John. She's walking a little gingerly on that knee. It's kind of trial by fire, though, John. You had so many injuries that you have to put them in, and hopefully they sink or swim, and they're swimming, these freshmen. Kind of submarined her there. That's out of position. Stone was just out of position on that play. They had to make up for it. Ended up in a foul. Yeah, that's just a mismatch down low. I'm curious to see why Cornell keeps going with that. Allery clearly has the height advantage on her. That's a rough play on the ground, but gritty, to use Bankhart's words. That was a gritty play on the ground. She did describe Bella as being both pretty and gritty, by the way. Yeah, that was an awkward fall, a twist of an ankle. Keep an eye on that throughout the rest of the game.
Ismael for 3, got it!
What about that as a pump-up going into halftime, John?
Look at some of these first half highlights. Big performance from Gabrielle Rush for the Princeton Tigers and Samantha Whitman for Big Red.
Yeah, we'll take Whitman first. I mean, we thought in the pregame that the offense was going to run through Bagwell Katalinic, and here you are with Whitman. She's shooting 66% from the floor, plus a pair of free throws. She's getting in passing lanes. She's getting high percentage shots, you've seen. And she looks to be the star of the game. She's the game-high scorer. And then you got Rush on the other side. She's 7 for 13 and 3 from downtown. And she's on pace at the half here to tie her career-high 6, which was the last time that she was out here in Princeton. And she got it that time, too.
Looking at some of these first half statistics, Princeton really used that big second quarter, and the disparity in three-point shooting is something that was to be expected. Cornell, not a team that'll let it fly quite a bit from three-point range. Yeah,
and you know what? It's interesting because it flip-flopped. They had the exact same free throw percentage in the first quarter to the second, and the exact same field goal percentage Cornell and Princeton did from the first to the second. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Danielle, as you look toward this second half, if you were in that Cornell locker room, what would be some adjustments you'd look to make?
Yeah, I mean, listen, first of all, the first thing I would say is that they've been down by 10 in the third quarter to Yale, and they came back, and I think that they beat them in that game. So that would be the first thing. That it's a message of confidence that you can get out there. But I would definitely see if I can get Bagwell Katalinic more involved, because right now she's not that involved. She only has 3 points this game. The offense needs to run through her in order to succeed in the second half. Great movement on the play. I mean, that's a high percentage shot that has to fall, and to follow it up with the foul, not a good look to start off the second half here. Yeah, I think that's cool that you have like a former player on as your staff. I mean, they know what makes you tick, and you know their strengths and weaknesses, so I love it. Yeah, and as a player, too, I would like that someone that's been in your position is now your coach. I like that idea.
And she'll get 2 at the line.
Yeah, you see, Rush, she was just slow on the footwork there, and she was just riding her just a little bit as she was driving to the hoop. Again, a telegraph pass into Allery. Use her height advantage. She's 6'4", taller than anybody out there. Put it up high. Yeah, and that's it. For them to make this comeback, to claw out of this hole, you need to involve her. She needs to be a main part. A nice ball fake to draw Allery off the mark a little bit and just dribble around and put it in. And that's one of those physical plays where you're throwing elbows just to create a little space between you and the defender. Something that's taught at the elementary level.
She's got 8 points tonight on 3 of 6 from the field.
Which is okay because it's just showing that there's a balanced attack. And you know, Courtney Banghart's getting 11 different Princeton Tigers involved in this game, which is something that you want if you got, like you said, 3 games or 5 games in 9 days. And Allery's limping on the way back on this side of the court. Favoring the knee. It's kind of worst case scenario for Cornell, isn't it? That your leading scorer is on the bench in foul trouble in the 3rd quarter. And Cornell is still an offer from beyond the arc. I think Cornell's going to look to slow it down here. They've got a little wild. Settle in. Get an offensive running here. Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, although she doesn't have as many points as we're accustomed to seeing her have, I mean, she's drawing defenders and she's opening stuff for everybody else. And of note, John, she's only played 18 minutes tonight, which kind of bodes well for Courtney Banghart in the future with that first place showdown with Penn next Tuesday, or Tuesday coming up. Having a record-breaking season, too.
And Rush makes him pay for 3.
Is that her 4th for tonight?
Her 4th made 3.
For her highest 6.
Bauer, Allery, high-low, could not finish.
Textbook ball movement, though, inside, outside.
Good ball movement by Big Red.
Sure, but you'd want to see them be a little bit more aggressive, being down so much, closing out the 3rd quarter. You know, Bauer is just about hovering around a 50% foul shot shooter on the season so far, and you're seeing that. That was a nice gritty play to get back to the line. Yeah, and that is what sets her apart, and that was just a great athletic play to get a little bump, a little physical play, get a little bump and put it up and over. And every Tiger that's been in the game tonight has scored. And that's something Courtney Banghart kind of professed, and she said that we're better when we're balanced, but we have to be. You're seeing it here tonight. She tried for the ball fake, head fake combination, and instead got some foot fakes, too.
The Big Red to start this 4th quarter, and Danielle, a lot of it coming in transition, giving Cornell a chance to get back into this one.
Yeah, and that's something that we had talked about earlier in the game, and I had wished that they would incorporate a little bit more. Now, you're looking at a Big Red team that is pretty confident coming into this because of last weekend's sweep. And Bagwell Catalan told me that since it shook up the standings quite a bit, it also showed that they can play 40 minutes and go down 5-10 points and still fight their way back into the game. And let's see if they can do it tonight. And John Princeton, up until this point, has been scoreless for 2 minutes or so while Cornell went on that run. I would hope that Cornell picks up the pace here a little bit. Work quickly, but not in a rush. It's always my big motto. Now, Cornell's getting Bagwell Catalan a little bit more involved than she has been. She's had 15 points tonight. That'll make it 18 times in her career with 10 or more. Sydney Jordan's going to be honored tomorrow night here by the president of the university with the Moses Taylor Pine Award. Anybody that doesn't know what that is, that's one of the highest, or the highest, academic award, intellectual award here. And Courtney Banghart, how that translates onto the court for her, well, I asked her, and she said defensively. And we're seeing that here tonight because she said that Jordan can retain the scout and figure out angles. And that's what really helps her the most, she says. And Banghart, we couldn't figure out when the last athlete had won that, student athlete. So in recent memory, it's Sydney Jordan. Hop, skip, and a jump. See her come down the court. Picks up her head, hop, skip, jump, and a good finish. And we talked about, John, the confidence being down 5-10 on this Cornell team. This game is not over. Well, first, that was a great press break, but then that was a great take by Bagwell Catalan down low on the block. Took him for the team on that one. And Bagwell Catalan again, entering play today, 87% of foul shots she makes. She is not the person you want at the line if you're Princeton right now.
It's a 4-point game.
All of a sudden, right? A win here tonight would really shake up the standings for the second weekend in a row in Ivy League women's basketball. Down 4, 43 seconds to go. Let's see how this plays out.
I think if you're Cornell, you can still play for 2 at this point with 43 seconds left.
Yeah, I think so. I think you go for a high percentage here, and it seems like their full court press is working.
Princeton Tigers hang on late. A 4-point win over Cornell tonight. And our own Danielle McCartan is with our player of the game, Gabrielle Rush.
And Gabrielle, it was a late run there by Cornell at the end. How were you guys able to kind of fend them off at the end?
I mean, yeah, I think it's the beauty of playing in a league that's super across the board. Everyone is good and everyone can make a run. So I think we just kind of pulled it together, timeout, and said this is not the effort that we want to give. We had a couple of turnovers in a row and then, quick possessions that maybe weren't the best shots. So I think we kind of just regrouped and came back together and got the win.
Now 16 points for you and 3 steals. What were you seeing out there tonight?
I mean, yeah, zone is fun to play against when you're a shooter. So I think my teammates were finding me. We were able to get it in and out, and people were attacking their zone and finding the holes.
Now 13 Tigers played tonight, and they all scored points. How can you speak to the balance of this team?
It's awesome because if one person's not that hot tonight, then someone else is going to step in and have a big game. So I think it makes it fun to be on this team because it can really be anyone's night and anyone can go off.
And my final question, you can't help to look ahead to the Penn game on Tuesday. It's a game that you guys have been long awaited for the Princeton Tigers.
Yeah, waiting since, January 5th. I mean, we're super excited. I think we're ready for them. And, it's exciting that it's in our hands now. So if we can get this win, then finish the league and get another ring.
Well, good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Have a good one.